Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that, Caély.
Yeah, you can.
Good morning and welcome to today's episode of The Stronger Thread. I'm Carly.
And I'm Caély.
And we're so excited to kind of catch up. I know we took a week off after Thanksgiving. We got to spend it together, which was so nice. Caély and the kids came over to Florida, sideways, and we got to get all the kids together, all of the kids.
Yeah, in one house.
One house, yes.
In one house.
It was beautiful. It was fun. They got to play. Very little screens were had. They got to go on the boat. We went to SeaWorld one day, which was really fun.
We ran around on a cold beach.
Yep. It wasn't that cold. It's still Florida.
It was
Come
pretty
on.
nice. It was nice.
Yeah. I mean, the kids, by the time of it, we said, don't get wet. Do not get wet. Whatever you do, you could play on the sand, build sand, snowmen, whatever. Just don't get wet. Not even, 2 minutes in?
Mm-hmm. They all.
Yep.
All of them. And then Clover was warned, don't do that. And then she ends up falling into the water. And she was just sopping. So fun. But she had one.
Yeah, found great seashells. Had so much fun.
A soggy coconut.
Yep. Good stuff.
I didn't know they could do that.
All the things a Florida Thanksgiving offers. And then, of course, we ate all the good food. Yeah.
There was a lot of good food to be had. I had to come home and start cooking again. I was spoiled while we were there. It was nice. The kids did have such a good time, though. They were running all over the place. My favorite is now we use elephant feet and what was it?
Bird feet.
Bird feet. Bird feet. I was saying rabbit feet for some reason. But yeah, my kids have elephant feet.
We were trying to get the kids to walk quietly up the stairs, and they would go boom, 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 instead of using little bitty bird feet. But it was so much fun. The house is definitely quieter, but the kids just played. So they played great together, which I love.
They had a blast. They nonstop from morning to nighttime. Sunny has joined us today. Hello.
Hello, Sunny.
Very demanding and loves attention.
I love it. And I see your Christmas tree is in the background, so you're all set up for Christmas now?
That's about all the decorations we're gonna we don't go full Griswold like y'all. We just throw up a tree and some stockings and call it a day. And there's a giant inflatable Boston Terrier that spends the entire month of December.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. So what are your plans coming up for like Christmas and New Year's?
Well, for Christmas, we're going to keep it at home because Mom and Dad are going to go meet up with y'all. Go over and meet up with y'all to Florida. And then for New Year's, we're going to come over again and drive over and have a Florida New Year's. So it'll be nice. So Christmas is actually going to be kind of quiet this year, which is weird because last year we had the giant sleepover at Mom's house with all the kids. So this is going to be a very quiet Christmas.
It makes it a good day just to stay in your pajamas and not do anything. And let the kids just play. Like, they're going to get a ton of stuff and let them just play with it.
Oh, yeah. I know we're working on a lot of bedroom revamp this year because both of our kids could use a little bit more space, a little bit more mature bedding situations. And my son, Rowan, we're trying out a new science kit, which he'll get for the first time on Christmas Day. It's a little activity kit to see if tinkering is something he'd be into.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we can't wait to have you guys back. Selfishly, I do get Mom and Dad. Yeah, I do get Mom and Dad all to myself for Christmas, which with a family of 5 kids is very rare, so I will take it. But I'm excited for you guys to join in New Year's, or for New Year's, should I say.
I'm excited too. I'm lonesome already.
Yep, for sure.
It's been really nice and comfortable with being around y'all for a whole week.
Yeah. Well, since you left, we've had some fun activity. I say fun. Is it ever fun?
It's eventful and it's interesting. It's never boring.
Yep. So I recently had a PET scan this past week, and so I thought we would kind of share it with you guys. Typically, I'm very much to myself when it comes to my treatments and my scans that I have. I let people know last year while I was going through my treatments kind of how that went, but I thought it would be a good time just to kind of open up and give a little bit more visibility into what goes on with scans and how often do they occur. Because I feel like the more we can educate people, the less scary it becomes. So before I go into my scans and the cadence that I'm currently in with my monitoring, do you want to review where you're at, and after your treatment, what did your monitoring look like?
Sure. So after chemo, radiation, having a baby, mastectomy, reconstruction, which took place over the course of less than a year's time total. After everything was good and scans were clear, I would meet up with my oncology team in Lafayette, and we would meet up every 6 months. And basically, all we would do is a tumor marker test, which is just a blood test. They draw some blood, they'd look at it, make sure I'm good and had no complaints, and we would just go from there. And all I did treatment wise after everything was take what was it called? The estrogen blocker.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Aromatase inhibitor.
Yes. So, and I just did that for 5 years. So I took it was just anastrozole was what it was called, and it was just estrogen blocker. 5 years, and every 6 months we would do a tumor marker test, and that was it. And within that time, my original oncologist retired, and I'm on PA number 3 now, because I'm not even at a point where they give me an official doctor, because I've been out of the woods for so long. So I'm officially done with all types of treatment, and I've graduated to the 5-year mark. So, well, it's like 8 years now, but five years of being off of 5 years being done with the hormonal treatment. Like, I did that for 5 years, and now it's been like 2 or 3 years since that. So I'm at the point where they only look at me once a year. So I go like around, honestly, in a few weeks, I go and I see whoever my oncologist is that day. Because I don't even know who I'm going to see. But they just look and make sure, hey, you're still alive, you're good. Let's do a bone density scan in a year or so, because I don't have any kind of anything, and just menopause. Yeah. So once every 2 to 3 years, we do that. So it's very minimal. I see my gynecologist more than my oncologist, which is funny because I don't even need to see them too much anymore either, because I don't even have a cervix.
It's all
gone. They took everything. So
empty inside.
Very minimal and very I'm on the back burner as far as priorities go, which is the complete opposite of you right now. You're going to Jacksonville a lot, from my understanding. Gainesville, Jacksonville. Yeah. We went to Jacksonville for something.
Yeah.
We were there. We were in Florida. We went there. But yeah, you're at Gainesville. Every time I'm on the phone with you, it sounds like you're in Gainesville. What you're doing.
It's not so bad. I have best friends in Gainesville, is what I say. My doctor team is phenomenal there. I see them typically now once a month. So I finished treatment for this last go round in August of last year, right when the kids were starting school. And so now I've just been kind of on a very strict monitoring system, which I absolutely love. When I initially finished my treatment the first time, when I had stage 3 cancer, and I had the mastectomy, hysterectomy, chemo twice actually, a bout of radiation, and then after that was for almost 5 years ago now, there wasn't a structured monitoring for us back then. It was every 6 months I'd go see my oncologist, very similar to you, but there was no scans, no test. Because a lot of reason, because of insurance. Insurance says, well, we went through treatment, you're clear, so the chance of it coming back are not as good for most people. Now, stage 3, you would think, oh, well, it's pretty high chance, and it actually was. My doctors were very honest about my chances of it coming back, so we weren't surprised, but they still couldn't order the test. Now, if I felt anything, or if I had any concerns, they would address them in the moment, and I would get whatever scan that they thought appropriate. So they were very proactive with that, which is how we found this next go round pretty early on. It's regional distant, so it wasn't in any of my organs, my liver, lungs, and that's typically where it pops up, or even your bones. So I was very fortunate in that regard, but there was just not the good cadence of testing. Now I am pretty stoked about one of the tests that I get once a month. And I know I've talked to you about it, but I think it's a pretty advanced test. So anytime you can catch something early on and treat it at such a microscopic level or smaller level, you have a better chance of getting back into remission or extending that period of life, whatever that looks like, right? So this test that I have done is called a Signatera test. So it sounds like you had a tumor marker test done prior to. That was never given to me because at that time they weren't so they they weren't as specific, right? And they didn't know what to do with it. Well, now this Signatera test is a test that has been used for prostate cancer, and you're looking at the numbers. So if you ever hear anybody that say, "Oh, I have prostate cancer," and they're checking my numbers, this is the test that they use for it. It is so cool to see that they can take a sample of your blood. It's very non-invasive, and take a sample of your blood and run it against your original tumor, and they check for the tumor DNA. So what they're looking for in your blood is very microscopic traces of the tumor DNA that is just floating around in you. The cool part about this test is that a lot of times it can test and it'll show up positive before a scan will. Now, this has only been around in the breast cancer world for about 2 years. So it's kind of like, what do you do with the data once you have it? Because if it is positive, it's okay. How much does that look like? And what does that look like in regards to a tumor? And where is it? Because the blood doesn't tell you that. So there are some limitations to the test, but if you are in my position or have any stage of breast cancer, I urge you to talk to your providers about the Signatera test, because it has been a total game changer in how they monitor later stage breast cancer patients. So pretty cool. Yeah, so we will post a couple links in our socials about the test. I'll even show you a picture of it. So yeah, I do get that done once a month. Now with PET scans, you have to realize cost a lot of money, right? So you have insurance conversations you have to have. And as much as the doctors want to do them as often as they can, because they don't have a lot of radiation exposure to you, so it's not harmful to get a PET scan, but for insurance purposes it costs them a lot of money, so you have to kind of balance it from that medical perspective. So I think using both the Signatera test and the PET scan, I've been quite happy with the level of monitoring that I'm currently getting. So with that being said, going back to kind of where we're at this week, is I've had 3 total PET scans done since I've ended my treatment in August. And all 3, thank goodness, have been what we call NED, no evidence of cancer. So we love to celebrate those. But about, I would say, January or February, when I had my first Signatera test done this year, it did show that I still had trace amounts of cancer in my blood, my tumor cells. So we have done those consistently every month, and I've gotten to see like trends of how it has increased, or no, it's going down. Is my current treatment working? So this past week, or last week while you were here, actually, I got the results of one of my Signatera tests, or my latest one, and it showed that it did more than double with the tumor markers, the tumor cells in my blood. But it's still such a small amount that I had a PET scan done yesterday, and they still can't find it on the PET scan, which is absolutely fantastic. So we celebrated that, and we're going to continue to watch what those blood levels do. Now, I don't know about you, but going into tests can always be scary. Do you remember some of the tests that you've had done?
Yeah. Well, what was it? A few months ago, I had a lump in my armpit. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a lymph node, and it all the signs. It was not moving. It was hard. It didn't hurt. All of the red flags. So I had actually talked to my doctor, and we ordered the scans. And I was really good. I'm very unfazed by a lot, but it wasn't until Mom happened to just find out about it, because I needed someone to stay with the kids, because the testing, I had to wait longer than I was supposed to, so I wouldn't have made it home in time for the kids. So I had no choice but to call, and I let her know. I was like, "Hey, this is what's happening, and I need you to kind of go and watch the kids." And so I was good until I got home and I talked about it, and I broke down and I cried with her because it's, you never want to hear it comes back for a third or a second or a third time. So that was kind of the most emotional for me, but mentally I've already been prepared for whenever it does come back, kind of like it's going to be part of life, like treating any other long-term ailment. I'm never going to I don't have a thyroid, so I take medicine for that, and just like anything else that's kind of a life thing, you just mentally know that this is what's going to happen when it goes through it. But testing, waiting for results is just my least favorite part of the process. I'd rather just know. And once I know what we can do, but it's just waiting like, okay, what is it? I need to know, because it's, my brain's happier once I know what's going on to be able to do something with it. But I hate the limbo of not knowing what's happening. So that's what bothers me.
Yeah. I think that is the hardest part. No matter what you're going through, whether it's cancer or anything, it's the unknown and the fear of it. I think now, if you'd have asked me 5 years ago when I was first diagnosed, the day I was diagnosed, yeah, I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of just what ifs, like, oh my gosh. Now, even though my cancer has progressed to a point that is not curable, it's not as scary. And I know that sounds completely backwards, but do I still get anxious? Absolutely. This past week, though, with having the results of my Signatera test and knowing how small it still was, knowing that we could hit it at such a small piece gave me such, I don't know, such a peace of mind going into the scan. I was like, okay, not a big deal. Took a nap during the scan. It's only 15 minutes, so it's not that long, but that was a good nap to have. So I think the more you know, the less scary it is. And I love that you talked about kind of like our family, right? So it's not just us being diagnosed, it's our entire family going through this and all of our loved ones. And living here, I think, gives me a little bit more of a bubble effect. I get to control my environment a little bit more. My husband is from the medical field, so we're very educated in our treatments, and they get to see me every single day and how normal my life still is. Do I go to Gainesville? Absolutely. Do I have treatments? Do I feel tired? All of the things. Yes. But my life is still very normal compared to most, and I'm grateful for that. But
I wouldn't call your life normal. You do more than most people. You definitely have accomplished more than your average person from my perspective.
Hey, life is short. You got to do it all as fast as you can.
You do very much. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I love that, because I have made it a point now. Like, I know how short life can be. And so I made it a point to, like, just do what I've always wanted to do, because there may not be time for it. But in the same instance, like, you look at our parents and they love us so very much, and I can't imagine what they are going through, right? So they don't get to see every single day that I am truly fine and I'm not hiding anything. And I think that's why it's so important that we do have these conversations for other people to see, is that yes, we do have hard times and we go through it, but everybody has something they're going through, right? So that's my, I don't know.
At this point, cancer is basically just that obnoxious roommate you can't get rid of. And you've learned how to just accept it, but it is what it is. So you find ways to live with it and thrive regardless of its existence.
Yeah, you just enjoy what you're given, and here you are. And it's such a small part of life. So once a month, I can make the trek to Gainesville. It's not so bad, and they're amazing people there, and we have fun. There's a great juice bar that I found. Absolutely love it. And it's a little bit of me time. Selfishly, I get a little bit of me time on the
Selfishly,
way there.
I get a little bit of you time too, because you get so bored you start calling people. And so I get a little bit more time with you too. So that's my favorite part is you'll call and be like, hey, I'm driving. And then we just
What
have a
you
nice visit.
doing?
Yep.
What you
I
doing?
enjoy those moments.
Yeah, I do too. So, anyway, going back to the monitoring piece of it. So now if you have stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, breast cancer, ask your provider for the Signatera test. Like we said, we'll post some stuff about it, but they're able to make changes. So my doctor is going to make treatment changes, even though nothing showed up on my PET scan. With the numbers rising, we're able to make medication changes.
Y'all are not playing around.
Can't wait for my new cocktail to come through. Can't wait for it. What's worse? I mean, look, I'm already preparing for chemo again one day, so I'm loving my hair as long as I can have it, and then, we'll go from there.
Oh, yeah, that's why I've been fighting the urge to let it grow out, because I was like, you know what, one day I'm probably going to just shave it all off again anyway, so might as well, let's see how long we can get it to go this time.
You're all good. You're all good.
Oh, yeah. So, but you know what? Your eyebrows look great today.
I got a new pencil.
Good job. Yeah. But that's all part of the fun with life, and I'm pretty sure our relatives think we're kind of nuts, like how last night when you texted, you updated and let everybody know, and instead of people being upset or stressed about it, we just started picking on each other about it. And I think that's very important to remember that it's unfortunate, it sucks, but it's not the end of everything, and there's so much to appreciate and enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, when my doctor told me this past time, because I get these results once a month, when my doctor told me this past time that it had gone up way more than it had in the past. I mean, in the past, it went from, 0.9 is what we started at, which was fantastic. And then it got up to the highest at 5. And then this past time, it hit almost 12. And so that was a big jump. But instead of being scared, it's like, okay, tell me what we got to do. What are we going to do about it? And so within, less than a week, I had my PET scan done and the results the same day. So they are very on top of it. And I'm waiting to hear back to see what the new cocktail will be. So I appreciate that piece of it. So the more you know, the less scarier it is. And then it just does become part of life. Like you said, a sucky part of life, but that's okay. It's great.
I appreciate that your team was on it regardless of the fact that it was Thanksgiving week. Like,
correct.
They did not miss a beat with that. So I was very happy about it. I was like, look, let's go today. Let's go right now. Let's get in the car and go. You're like, nah, they're busy right now.
When we first started treatment, the first go round, my oncologist said, I will keep hitting you with a bat. Because I asked him, I said, how much medication do you have? Like, at what point do you run out of medication to treat this thing? And he said, nope, I will hit you with a bat and I will keep hitting you until you tell me to stop. I was like, deal. So when I got re-diagnosed, it said, I'm ready for those bats. Bring them on.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes you're never gonna tell him stop though, is the thing. You're very you're stubborn. If there's one person I know that doesn't know how to stop doing something. And that's what I talked to Clover about too, because I mean she doesn't understand the full everything, but she knows that Nani is very much hard headed, and if she wants something, she's gonna go and accomplish it regardless of what's in her way. So that bat better be aluminium or whatever. I don't know. It ain't gonna be hard enough.
Oh man. So anyways, so yeah, kind of next steps is we're just waiting to see, and then we'll go from there. And then I'm sure I'll have another PET scan soon to see what, to keep watching and see what happens. But
Keep covering bases. Oh, it was nice checking in after that wonderful visit for a whole week at your house. So I can't wait for New Year's to come along because I'm already fiending for another round of the Tajmirs.
yes.
If you're interested, everybody out there, you can follow us on social media. Our Pink Jean is our Facebook page, and www.ourpinkjean.com is our website. Go check us out. We have blogs. We do a lot, and hopefully we can start to grow and do more as you guys out there have questions or comments or any information you need.
Yeah. Our main goal is just to help bring awareness, more than just how I envision the pink ribbon. It's truly helping bring awareness to conversations and all the new treatments that are out there, and everybody is going through something. But how do you kind of use that to your advantage and make you stronger with it? So, if you found this episode helpful at all, or if you know somebody that is going through breast cancer or a tough time, we're definitely here. So, check out our socials, reach out to us through our website or our social medias. And we'd love to hear from you guys. We'd also love to hear what other topics you'd want covered. If you have questions about what we've gone through, or any of our genetic conversations that we have had with our doctors, we're more than happy to share and be as transparent as possible. So thank you guys so much for being a part of today's episode. Stay strong and take care of yourself. And just remember, there's always a stronger thread out there for you.
Bye.